Hello, everyone, and welcome. Welcome to a very special episode of the Pastrami Nation podcast. I'm Kevin, Entertainment Editor here at Pastrami Nation. So I wanted to do a kind of an intro to this, what you guys are about to hear, this interview you're about to hear. So this past weekend, I had the amazing opportunity to attend Fan Expo Portland, which is a con I'd never actually been to before. I've covered Rose City Comic Con. I've covered Emerald City Comic Con, C2E2, been to quite a few. But this is the first time I've ever been to a Fan Expo. It's really cool, but more on that later on in the show. Right now, when I was at Fan Expo, I had the amazing opportunity to sit down with the CEO of the Nacelle Company, Volk Weiss. Really cool guy. He gave me 20 minutes of his time. We sat down and we chatted about some of his upcoming projects. Now, the Nacelle Company, for those of you who aren't familiar, they're a multimedia company that have their hands in everything from television, movies, to toys and comic books. They have kind of reinvigorated the love for a lot of the franchises that they now own the rights to. They recently last year got the rights for Star Trek, so they're going to be creating a lot of action figures and stuff based on Star Trek, and they did have a couple panels at Fan Expo, which they talked about how they're really bringing forward like a lot of the fan favorite characters that you've never seen in toy form before, you're going to see in their toy line. So it's very, very exciting. They were specifically, so Nacelle Company, they were specifically at Fan Expo to talk about a couple of their upcoming projects. The first one they were there to talk about was Robo Force. Fascinating story about this franchise. It started in the 80s. Stay tuned for the interview. You'll hear all about it and how what other robot transforming franchise knocked them out of the top spot. But basically what they did was they kind of took it and created it for a new audience. They have a really, really cool production partner on this project. Maybe you all have heard of him, Dwayne Johnson. Who is very passionate about this franchise and really has a hands-on approach to what they're doing with the franchise. It's going to come out as an animated series. As you'll hear in the interview, it's planning to release on Tubi in April, but more on that stuff in the actual interview itself. And then we also talked about the next season of The Toys That Made Us on Netflix. So Nacelle Company, they are the brains behind Brian. Specifically, he's one of the brains behind The Toys That Made Us, and he's also the spinoff, The Movies That Made Us as well, which I didn't know. I had watched every episode, so it was really cool to be able to sit down with the creators of those shows and talk to him a little bit about that process. So we talked about The Toys That Made Us. Oh, he also brought along a special guest, Billy Galaxy. Billy Galaxy he's a consultant on The Toys That Made Us. He's a massive, massive toy guy. He actually owns a toy shop in Portland, Oregon. Let me see if I could pull up the name real quick, because he wanted to, we want to shout out all these really, really cool people. If you're ever in Portland, Oregon, check out Billy Galaxy Toys in downtown. I haven't been there myself, but from what I've heard, it's an incredible experience. It's like a museum. The way Brian puts it, it's a museum that you can buy stuff from. So want to shout him out real quick. But he also joins us on the interview. He's there to talk about The Toys That Made Us a little bit with Brian and I. And I also just kind of wanted to give a little kind of forewarning before we go into this interview. So this was actually my first time ever doing an in-person interview like this. I was literally sitting across the table from both of them, and we were chatting about this. Now, those of you who have watched the Pastrami Nation podcast or know me on any personal level know that I suffer from severe anxiety. So it was a fun experience, but I also got very, very nervous. But I felt within the first few minutes of the actual interview, I felt more comfortable. These guys are class act, Brian and Billy both. were just amazing to talk to, had a lot of great insight into some really, really cool topics, which we're going to jump into. And you'll see when we get in there, we go on a few little tangents about some things, but that's kind of the nature of it all. And it was really, really fun. I felt so comfortable. And there's something different and interesting about doing an interview in person like this. You kind of let your guard down a little bit more. You're seeing the person face to face. And it just feels, I don't know, it feels more human, I guess. I don't know, there's something about it. I'm used to doing interviews, conducting interviews through the screens, which I've done quite a few of those. But as far as the first in-person interview, really, really great experience. And I hope to do plenty more in the future. And also when I'm introducing them, I kind of had to start record again and kind of do it again. But I even messed up a little bit when I was introducing Billy Galaxy. For some reason, before the interview, we were focusing really hard on his last name, and I just called him Galaxy for some reason, and I don't know why. That's on me. That's my bad. But I don't want to start and do it again. So that's the magic of editing. That's why I'm doing this right now. So you're going to hear me just call him Galaxy. But yeah, we're going to... but his name is Billy Galaxy. But so I hope you all enjoy this interview with Brian Volk Weiss and Billy Galaxy. And I will see you guys on the other side to talk about a little bit about Fan Expo and my experience throughout the weekend. So I will see you guys there. Enjoy the interview. I'm here with Brian Volk Weiss and
there you go.
Galaxy. He's here joining us as well. How's it going?
Good. How you doing?
Good. I'm doing pretty good. Really excited to talk to you guys. So you guys are at Fan Expo Portland to talk about, well, a couple things, but first let's talk about the toys that made us. You guys are going to be coming out with a brand new season. Two brand new seasons.
Yes.
Two brand new season.
8 full episodes.
8 full episodes. That's awesome. So tell us a little bit about this upcoming seasons. I mean, you guys I have watched all the other seasons you guys have released.
Thank you.
And I absolutely love it. One of my favorite toy brands of all time is Lego. I'm a big Lego fanatic. I'm curious, what are some of the topics you guys are going to be hitting up on these 8 episodes? What are some of the things you guys are really excited to talk about?
Let's see if we can do this between us.
Yeah.
Ghostbusters.
Happy Meals.
Superheroes. Hot Wheels. I'm going to say...
What else we
I
got?
have so many things going through my head.
No, it's okay. There's a lot.
What is it? Hold on. It's funny. I can do this solo. It's when
right.
I'm in a tag team.
I hear you.
Nerf is one. Polly Pocket. Jinx.
Nice.
Now we're at 6. My Pet Monster.
Oh, I love My Pet Monster.
American Greetings.
Which
so that's
I'm very excited about.
Okay, good. So we got that's My Pet Monster.
Pokemon.
And Pokemon.
You
and
guys
it's so funny.
Pokemon
is the number one biggest brand on planet Earth. Literally number one. And it's the one I always forget too.
That is absolutely nuts.
That was the first episode we picked of the next 2 seasons, and it's the one I always forget when I'm given the list.
Very cool.
Yeah, exactly.
So I'm curious, just kind of growing up for you guys and stuff, what were some of your guys' favorite toys to play with? Like, out of the stuff that you guys have covered so far, if you were to go back to your childhood, what was the one that you guys were all about? Whether Lego, Star Trek toys, whatever the case may be, what were your guys' top go-tos?
Why you look at me when you say Star Trek?
Both of you guys. Well,
what have you heard?
Well, I've heard a lot of stuff and some great things.
Just to put the record straight, I don't know if either of us has actually grown up as you.
Right. Oh, yeah. Well,
I stopped at 27. I'm around 27. Don't tell my gray hair or my knee.
But, I think we're both still playing with some toys.
Yeah. Well, I collect. Don't get me in trouble.
So do I.
With Sheila. No, I mean, it really was like if you watch the first 2 seasons of Toys That Made Us, the only exception being Power Rangers and wrestling. Those were my toys.
Yeah.
I grew up.
Hello Kitty.
All right. That's fair. I did not. I had a pencil case. I did have Hello Kitty pencil case. Yes, the blue one.
I grew up with a sister, so Hello Kitty was all over the place.
You notice how I threw that in, the blue one? But I did have a blue Hello. It wasn't really Hello Kitty. It was Sanrio. But I mean, it was Star Wars. it was Lego. So Star Wars was the main thing. And then it was Lego would be the second main thing. And then honorary second place, but tied, would be G.I. Joe and Transformers.
Gotcha. Oh, yeah. G.I. Joes and Transformers were my childhood, too.
And Batman, sorry.
Batman. You got to have Batman.
Which is largely my collection now. I mean, if you look at my collection now, which is well over 4,000 pieces,
wow.
I'd say 90% of it falls within Star Wars, Star Trek, Batman, G.I. Joe, just those. And then again, honorary mention for what do you call it? Transformers.
Transformers, yeah, absolutely. So as I forgot to mention before we started, you're the CEO of Nacelle Toy Company.
Yeah.
And you guys, the reason why I brought up Star Trek earlier, I know last year you guys were very excited. You guys got the rights to Star Trek.
Yes.
How is that line going for you guys? And
It's funny. I just showed this to Billy. I just got a text from the head of our consumer products department saying, "Sorry to bother you on a Saturday, but did you mean for this character this uniform or that uniform?"
Right.
And I said to Billy, I'm like, 15 years ago, that text would have said, "Hey, I told you I don't want any green rental cars," because I used to be a manager of comedians.
Yeah.
And that was like my life on a Saturday.
Yeah.
So to be asked which uniform, thank you, to be asked which uniform of one of your favorite characters that you've worshipped since you were 5 years old, did you want the statue to be carved into?
Right.
Yeah, that's it's going fine.
It's going fine. No, that's great to hear.
When is this interview going to come out?
So it's not going to come out till next week. So it'll come out probably Monday or Tuesday. So
then I still unfortunately cannot say what I want to say, but we have 2 announcements in February that are going to make, I predict, a lot of Star Trek fans very happy.
That's great to hear. I'm very excited. I love Star Trek, grew up with Star Trek. My dad's a big Trekkie, and he's loved all of he's got a huge collection of stuff. So
we'll let him know we're making Valkyrus. She's on screen for, I believe, 91 seconds.
Awesome.
We are making her in plastic form for the first time.
Very cool, very cool. And you have the Biker Mice from Mars shirt on, so
that's
I have
right.
to ask about Biker Mice from Mars.
Wave 1 sold out multiple times. We're making more as we speak. The bikes just showed up. They're starting to show up in stores.
Very cool.
So mom and pops all over the country, Walmart, you name it, all over the bikes. And it's our first vehicle, too. So they light up. They have missiles that shoot. The mice actually fit on them. Can you believe it?
Right.
So they're doing great. And we will have an announcement about Wave 2 also very soon. It's going to be a very busy February.
Yeah, absolutely. So let's talk. I'm curious about I know you guys have mentioned before doing the animated series again, reviving that from Biker Mice from Mars. How is that coming along? Are you guys working on that?
We are doing 8 episodes. We're partnered with Ryan Reynolds. The scripts are almost done, and we have started the preliminary design work on the characters and the locations. Animation takes forever. I mean, Robo Force is coming out in April, and we have been working on that. If you look at when we bought the copyright, it's been 3 years.
Gotcha.
If you look at when we said, let's make a cartoon, it's been, it's getting close to 2 years. I mean, it takes forever. No, that includes writing the scripts.
Yeah.
So the writing took about a year, and that was only for 6. Biker Mice is going to be 8. So it does take time to write them.
Yeah.
It does take time, to make the scripts good, because what was very weird for me, and I would argue the whole company, I'm a big believer in, people I work with probably hate this as they should, but I'm a big believer in you just do it.
Right.
And then when you're in the editing bay, you start to see all the problems, and you're like, okay, get rid of this, get rid of that, and we need to go shoot more to do, and that's how I've directed my whole life. Dude, animation is the opposite. And I know I'm telling, I'm not going to shatter anybody's minds here, but like, there's no messing around in post. Yeah. Like, you got to get it right in the script, because everything starts with the voices.
Yeah.
So I had to literally reprogram my brain from everything I'd done the entire first part of my career. Yeah.
Absolutely. And you guys are also talking about Robo Force here this year. What is Robo Force about? Tell us a little bit about it and when we should be. So you said April, correct?
It's coming out in April. We have an announcement on Tuesday that's going to say where.
Okay. Awesome.
So is this going to come out after Tuesday?
It'll come out after Tuesday.
Okay.
Yeah. I'll make sure of it.
Okay. Thank you. So, and then just do me a favor. If God forbid anything goes wrong with deadline, we'll make sure we tip off our friend here. But so it's going to premiere on Tubi in mid-April.
Okay.
And
very exciting.
we're partnered with Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson.
I saw that.
So that's funny. I always call him Dwayne privately, but then whenever I feel like an asshole being like, "Well, Dwayne, he's producing," but he is.
Right.
So it comes out in April on Tubi, and we're here in Portland doing a lot of we're doing a lot of conventions this year to get the word out, answer any questions. But basically, to answer your question, wouldn't that be nice of me to actually answer your question? Robo Force, you and I have matching gray in our beards.
We do. I remember Robo Force.
Well, you might remember something also known as Ishtar.
Yes.
What is widely considered to be the biggest bomb in the history of the studio system. It's not, by the way, but it is perceived to be that. So for anyone who doesn't know, in case you have any listeners who don't have gray in their beards, Ishtar is widely considered to be one of the most spectacular bombs in the history of the studio system, because it had two of the biggest actors of all time in it at the time, Warren Beatty, Dustin Hoffman. The director had just won an Oscar, and then they made what is considered to be one of the worst films of all time. In case you're wondering why am I talking about that in the middle of this interview, Robo Force was the toy business's version of Ishtar. So what happened was Ideal Toys announced they were doing this line of toys called Robo Force, and the reason they were doing it was because the president of CBS had gotten annoyed that all these TV shows that he was greenlighting and CBS was spending all this money on, they would do a deal with like Mego or Mattel, and then Mego and Mattel would make all the money because they were supporting a TV show that was already on the air. So he thought he had a great idea. He goes, buy a toy company, I don't care which, and then we're going to call that CBS Toys, and then we're going to make our own toys so we don't have to give away any money. So they bought this toy company called Ideal Toys, and the Ideal came in, first day of work, and the former owner, now the president, says to the head of CBS, "Hey, we're doing all these toys," and the head of CBS goes, "This is verbatim. This is a real quote." He goes, "That's what you're proposing to me? That's small ball. We're CBS. We just do home runs. We just do grand slams.
Right.
Come back in a month. I want to see a grand slam proposal." So they came back with the craziest thing they could think of, which became Robo Force. Most new toys launch with 7 figures, maybe 1 vehicle, and that's it. And if it works, great. And if it doesn't work, it doesn't work. They came to the president of CBS, 24 characters, 4 vehicles, a real robot that in 1983 cost $2,000, which today I think would be like about $15,000. It was the craziest thing ever. And it was designed for the president of CBS to say, "That's crazy, go back to the other thing you pitched."
Right.
President of CBS goes, "I love it, let's do that." So that's what they greenlighted. So they put this crazy toy line into production. They go to Toy Fair, which is like the Sundance of the toy community, for over 100 years, and they announced it on a Tuesday. Everybody goes crazy. Toys R Us, biggest order in the history of Toys R Us to this day for a new toy line, 2 million units.
To this day.
KB Toys, 500,000 units at the time, biggest unit order ever for a new toy line. So I can see in your face, you're wondering, why didn't I know about this? Why was it such a failure? Why? Well, let's see how good you are. Can you guess at the same toy fair what was announced on Thursday?
I imagine Transformers.
Transformers.
Yep.
So that Toys R Us order of 2 million went to 250. The 500,000 KB order went to 50,000. It was a disaster, and as soon as it came out, they lost a lot of money, and the president of CBS forced Ideal Toys into bankruptcy. So we were able to buy the copyright, I guess about 30, 40 years later.
Yeah.
I'm not good at math. And there really was no storyline. Now, I know Billy might say, well, there were comic books, and they did make a pilot. By the way, that was the other thing.
Right.
CBS had ordered 52 episodes, and they only finished the pilot, and even the pilot didn't get finished. I've seen it. It is unwatchable. The comic books are terrible. I mean, you can tell how kind of bad everything was by the names. Like, the bad guy's name was Enemy. Literally, like weird shit. Like the helicopter guy was Chopper. Just kind of. They didn't hire Marvel the way Hasbro hired Marvel for Transformers and G.I. Joe.
Right.
Anyway, so we took what really. So my point in bringing that up was. Yeah. We didn't have, like with Biker Mice, we are following the canon. We are, like, no fan of the 90s show will be mad at us.
Right.
Like, we're going to add to it, and we're going to modernize it a little bit. Don't freak out, people. But it will be what you remember, just a modern version. I would equate it to Top Gun 2. Like, it didn't ruin the first movie. I actually like Top Gun 2 more.
Top Gun Maverick, I thought it was fantastic.
Much more than the first one. But anyway.
Absolutely.
So we took what really happened. So in Robo Force in the opening of the series is supposed to be the new awesome robots protecting the world.
Right.
And across town, there's another company called Utopia Aegis. They announced their new robots, which are much better than Robo Force. And then our show takes place 15 years after that, where Robo Force are all losers. They all have menial jobs. Max 89, who's the star of the show, he's literally cleaning bathrooms in like a grease bar.
All right, and we are
guess
back.
What happens? There's a robot
I really have to
uprising.
give a big shout out.
And the only robots
Nacelle
that can stop
for
the bad robots is Robo Force.
Truly an honor to
and that's what the show's about. It's all about redemption.
And be able to chat
it's my
with
favorite
them.
line
really,
from
Brian, Billy,
Furiosa.
Fury
Road! Fury Road! I did not say Furiosa. Fury Road.
We thank you so much.
But it's like when Mad Max asks her,
it's always a pleasure.
Why are you doing this? Just go.
You guys and talk about
she
what you guys
says,
have coming
redemption.
up. As you guys heard in the interview.
And that's what Robo Force is about. It's about redemption.
On Tubi.
It's about these 8 losers who get a second chance,
make sure to keep an eye out
and they should be running as far and as fast as possible away from the second chance, and they don't, and they fight, and they do.
Check them out.
Spoiler! I'm Stormy Nation.
Excited.
They do save the world.
Biker Mice from Mars.
We don't have a dark ending like 7.
With Ryan Reynolds producing.
It is a cartoon,
which is really
no, I hear you.
I
just watched 7 again, by the way. The 4K remaster.
Story about the Robo Force.
By the way, here's a little
that movie still holds up. By the way,
general is super
fascinating. I saw that movie last
year.
It looks like it was shot 6 weeks ago.
Transformers.
If you ever
take the top spot, kind of makes sense,
original 7 DVD.
But yeah,
the original, like the one like from the late 90s.
Is that the one that
two
comes
different
in
panels? Did it one for
No, that's my whole point. No, it's the first one.
Gotcha.
The commentary on it, and they have everyone. It's Brad Pitt, Morgan Freeman, and Fincher. It's the greatest commentary literally of all time.
I need to find
it.
I don't know what Brad Pitt's talking about.
It's
literally like he's talking about another movie, and they put the wrong thing on 7.
Some are original, some are not.
Morgan Freeman just keeps saying words out loud in French. Like at some point, someone says something about a library, and Morgan Freeman hasn't talked in 20 minutes, and he just goes, Biblioteca.
Robo Force or Vice
versa. Just goes on. And then Fincher, it was like in his contract, they were like, you must say the word shit every ninth word, okay? Go.
They have a really cool output of their action
figures.
I'm off topic. No, I love it. I love it. Absolutely. So
Robo Force.
So Robo Force is going to be
not here to sell 7 DVDs.
No, I love 7. I can talk about that all day. But Tubi, I love the fact that you guys are putting on Tubi. Everyone can watch.
Yes, exactly.
Amazing, fantastic. So you guys are kind of paving your own path with the series. Obviously, the characters and stuff, you're kind of keeping somewhat to.
The only thing we kept, really, if I'm being honest, is for the most most part, the names.
Well,
so a lot of the names are the same.
It's a lot smaller than some of the
in fact, the only names we've really changed are because Nacelle sent us an interesting letter a couple of years ago, and we had to work out a deal with them. But other than that, all the names are the same, and I was adamant about keeping the suction cups. So we have a couple scenes, almost one scene per episode, where it is very clear, because that was their gimmick. The toys' gimmick was they didn't have
Convention Center.
They just had one monopod suction cup thing.
That's where they had.
So I was adamant that we actually had legs and feet, but that we would keep the suction cups. So the toys still have the suction cups. But in every episode, I think every episode, at least 5. There's a suction cup moment.
All kinds of people. You have the celebrities.
I'm excited for it. I'm going to watch it with my kids, and they're going to love it.
This one, they used about 3/4 of that space.
We talked about the toys that made us a little bit earlier. You guys have a spin-off of that, which I
nice.
The movies that made us, which is
one thing that really stood out.
I'm a big movie guy. I love movies.
So glad you like it.
The celebrities.
That last season you guys did, which was I'm a huge horror.
They kind of had
horrors like genre. So like that whole season, pretty. I mean, there was a couple exceptions. You guys did like Nightmare on Elm Street,
where it kind of feels like you almost have to have special access to
what's kind of like, when you're going through the list of movies you guys want to do, I'm just curious from that perspective,
Supernatural fan.
How much of that are you like, we have to do these movies, like these movies are essential, or are you just kind of like just kind of picking some of your favorite movies,
except for
the creatives of those specific episodes kind of
Misha Collins wasn't there.
We came up with this strategy on Toys That Made Us, and we use this for everything we do, including Icons on Earth and all the shows we do. We kind of use the same logic.
Like, it was wild.
There needs to be what I like to call a Mount Rushmore character. So there needs to be a character, like my wife doesn't know anything about Transformers.
Like Hazbin Hotel.
I mean, literally, it's like kryptonite to her. Like, if she sees
One Piece.
But she can identify
My Hero Academia.
Right. She can identify Megatron.
I got
Troy and by name. And say, that's Optimus Prime. That's Megatron.
I get. So
you need a Mount Rushmore character. You need a good story. So there has to be a good story. There's a couple, like
super nice guy.
The movie, for example, 7. We looked
into it. One thing I will say,
it
is very fan oriented. It is very kind of celebrity oriented, right? So you kind of go
no issues, no nothing. Like they thought it would be a triple, and it ended up being a home run.
Yeah, like as much as I enjoyed it,
it wouldn't make a very good episode.
And check out.
So you need a good story.
There was a lot of stuff to do.
You need basically what I like to call
you're not going to walk around every corner and find
a character or a world
artist that you'd never heard of, right? Like
the money we spend to make these episodes, we can't justify it unless there's at least 2 generations of fans, and we really do need 3 or 4 generations. And the way I look at it is,
Comic Cons that I've been to, which is not a knock.
I played with Optimus Prime. My 5-year-old's playing with Optimus Prime.
If you're ever,
I watched Star Wars. My kids are watching Star Wars. Not as much as I would like, I might add. Washy. But yeah. So you need a fan base that's multi-generational. Because ideally, people will sit together as a family while watching our shows.
Right. Absolutely, and that's exactly what we did.
Season.
Oh, good.
Starts in March with
very cool.
City Comic Con.
Well, thank you guys so much for
thank you.
With me today.
And we got to do a shout, Billy. So Billy is on the panel with Toys That Made Us. One of the panels we're doing today. He has. I got to be careful because I have a friend of mine who also owns a toy store in Portland, so I need to be careful. But Billy owns truly one of my favorite toy stores on this planet. It's called Billy. It's called Billy Galaxy's. To me, I just call it Billy Galaxy. But the official name is Billy Galaxy's, like Toys and Collectibles.
I highly recommend.
Maybe some comic books. And that's here in Portland. Anybody hearing this, if you're ever in Portland, you got to go to Billy's store. Since the first time I went, when I didn't know Billy, it's like a museum where you can buy stuff.
So simple.
That's what I always say.
It's so cool.
Thank you.
It was seamless. It was a seamless event, and there was really not a lot I can say. One thing I will say is make sure you download the app so you know where you're going, you know where all the panels are and everything. And they were able to fit a lot of programming into kind of the smaller space that they had, which I thought was super impressive. So definitely go check out Fan Expo if you guys get the opportunity, and check out pastramination.com on my full article and thoughts on that. Anyways, thank you all for checking out this very special episode of the Pastrami Nation podcast. As usual, you can find Pastrami Nation on all the socials. You can find Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, wherever. Threads. I think we got a Threads. Oh, Pinterest. We're really big on Pinterest. You can also find me, Kevin Hoskinson, or Kevin _ Hoskinson on TikTok, on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, all that fun stuff. Blue Sky. I'm on Blue Sky as well. So look for me on there if you happen to be there. But thank you all for checking out the show. It really, really means a lot to me. And I hope you guys learned something new. And check out Robo Force when it comes out. And check out the Nacelle Company in general. They got some really, really cool things happening over there. And I cannot recommend their products enough. They're coming out with a bunch of comic books and stuff soon too as well. So definitely keep an eye out for those. Anyways, thank you all for joining us. Have a good day. Have a good night whenever you're listening to this. And we will see you guys later. All right. See y'all. Bye-bye.